take the moment of silence to ask the ancestors to gather with us and sup with us, be anointed with us through the essential liquid, through the essential oil that we will share today. This is Palo Santo. As you journey with Oni Ibini, you will definitely always see, smell, hear, feel Palo Santo. Very sacred holy wood that is used to purify, cleanse, clarify, and open the way for spiritual alignment to happen. I want to share with the universe and those who vibe and are on a frequency higher than earthly existence at this time. Our ancients have taught many civilizations. Our ancients have given a lot to the world, from math to holy days to calendars, to very large amounts of written languages, scripted languages, hieroglyphs or glyphs as well. And so essential oils is nothing new. I think a lot of the spiritual energy that we are starting to embrace at this particular time is nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun, but I think now um, the the world and the universe is so open to these spiritual connections because it is yearning for it to return back to um, its original self, and for us to return back to our original self and to treat it and to uh, walk upon it and honor it and respect it as we should our own mothers, regardless of what has transpired through time. Um, because many of us may not have, great relationships with our mothers. We may not have a talkative relationship with our mother. We may not be able to have an open relationship with our mother, but just as many are not able to go out and embrace nature or find food out in the wilderness or hunt or light Palo Santo and truly smell and inhale the, oh, so grateful aroma that it holds and appreciates it, is that same lack of love for only self. Because if you are not able to love your creator, your creatress, you cannot begin to love yourself. No form, no fashion, no way. You must be able to embrace that in which you came from to be able to begin to embrace that in which you are. And so many people have their qualms about being in nature, and many people have their qualms about talking to their mother, or having a conversation or a relationship with their mother. But despite your differences, despite your uh, your naivety to the difference, because there isn't one. You are your mother and your mother is you. You are your father and your father is you. You are the land and the land is you. that which you feel disconnected from is the same thing that disconnects you from the earth, disconnects you from Mother Nature. And so we must begin to start healing and forgiving um, our per se parents, but they're not really parents. They're just a part of a rant. They're part of a um, chaotic motion um, that brought about a symbolic or a synergy that formed you. So, needless to say, begin to replenish your relationships with those in which you came from. Guardian, mother, father, uh, grandparent, genes, genetics. Begin to embrace those and start to perfect them. And you can't perfect them until you learn them. Truly start to have a relationship with them. And that is just a minute change, per se, man in the mirror that can change the face of every person and every way that we see the earth. And so I said all that um, to awaken a being somewhere out there that needed that information, because that necessarily wasn't where I was going, but apparently the universe brought me there, sent me there for a reason. But to bring it back home, um, the ancients lived off the land. They lived off the Nile. They lived off the floods and the flow of plants and nourishment that was given from the water and the land that surrounded the people. And one of those things were plants. Um, and in the extraction from those plants, we use plants for everything. Dye, we use plants to eat. We use plants to feed um, our animal feed. We use plants for everyday life. That is what we use. The life that surrounded the Nile, that surrounded the people. And so to move forward in that thought, um, that is the essentialness that comes from, or that is in oil. That is the essential properties that oils embody, is the energy of the land, the flow of the land, the power of the land. And so when we are anointing ourselves with these oils, and we are anointing ourselves with these carrier oils, which come from trees, um, per se your coconut, your almond, those particular carrier oils, and we're anointing ourselves with these essential oils, and we're blending them, and we are literally making magical moments in each experience, each oil, each base, to bring about a spiritual essential point in ourselves. And so I want to share with you how sacred, and I use that word sacred a lot when I'm sharing with people, because I truly see every spiritual moment as a sacred moment. It's a holy moment. It's a moment in which you become whole. It's a moment where you become and start to see all of you at once, and are bits and parts, pieces of you that constitute that whole, and to where you're now able to start putting yourself together again. You're starting to remember your body, very similar to the Isis Osiris and the Set story, and Horus and the Falcon, and all, just the whole energy of that story, in that encounter. you know. And so, needless to say, so anointing the body, anointing the temple, anointing the medulla oblongata, um, and anointing the inner wrist, the inner um, wrist of our being, and anointing the heart, anointing the chest, and definitely anointing the feet. Um, there is power in those places. That is the reason why in the Christian story, Jesus is pierced here and here and at the feet, and then crowned with thorns um, that allowed him to have blood dripping from his whole body. And I don't want to get into the sacredness of blood when it comes to hippopotamuses and vests, but when you get a moment, take time and just um, kind of review or embrace the 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 secretion of the hippopotamus and where that comes from, because it does flow with the anointing process that we partake in ourselves daily, and some not. Some for ritual reasons, ceremonial reasons, what have you. So, with that being said, as you have seen, I share with you just the essence and the essential property and reason that we relate to those as essential oils, because the land was an essential part of our being and our livelihood. The plants, which is where these oils are being extracted from, was the essence, the essential an essential component to our being and our livelihood and our day, you know, and how it progressed and how it degress as well. Excuse me, not degress, but digress as well. So we want to just see the correlation, the energy between those two um, energies. Um, Living off the land, having those essentials being extracted and being anointed today in modern time with those essentials, and how they can carry you throughout the day to be a divine being, as our ancients was that lived amongst the land and around the land, and of the trees and the vines and the berries and and just our original way of living, and how it was an essential counterpart to our being. So, moving moving forward, essential oils. I just want to share a few essential oils with you because I'm positive, I'm trusting to the universe that now as not that we haven't already understood, but just giving a little bit more clearer thought of the essential properties of essential oils and where they come from. Um, I want to share with you just different things we did with essential oils. From the anointing during rituals, the anointing in ceremonies, in bathing, spiritual baths. Some may refer to them as healing baths. Very similar. Not all spiritual journeys are designed to per se heal, but all healing does lead to a higher spiritual version of yourself.